Well, hello, Hide and Seekers. Good evening, good morning, or good afternoon, wherever you are tuning in from. I'm your host, John Edwards from Hide and Seek Paranormal Research, and this is our first Hide and Seek Paratalk podcast. Apologies about the delay. We had a few technical issues. Again, with it being our first podcast, we want to get those teething issues out the way. But I'm here with you now, so thank you very much for tuning in. Now, you may ask yourself, who are Hide and Seek? Who are Hide and Seek Paranormal Research? We are a paranormal investigation group based in Melbourne, Australia. We were established in 2005, and we've investigated some of the most haunted locations in Victoria and New South Wales. We took a break, but now we are back. This time we're armed with a more modern and up-to-date equipment. And not only are we going to be revisiting some of the amazing places around Victoria, but this time we are taking Hide and Seek International. That's right, Hide and Seek International, starting early 2024. But we'll talk about that a bit later on. Now, a bit closer to home, we start filming our first episode for our first series at the start of June. Now, June is actually really busy for Hide and Seek. We got a lot of content that we'll be filming, getting that all put together, edited, and brought to your screen. So do bear with us while we get that content all created. First up, we start off at a place called Bishop's Palace. Now, Bishop's Palace was built as the home for the first Bishop of Ballarat. The palace was designed by Melbourne architect Joseph Reed of Reed and Barnes and built by George Broome at a cost of a whopping £6,000. The original property was set on 140 squares, I believe, on 11 acres of garden, and took up an entire block of Stair Street. Now, this was on scale with the importance of Ballarat as a gold mining centre at the time. Now, I'd just like to thank Dolly from Chitin Paranormal, as we are doing a collaboration with her, and I just want to thank her for inviting us, and we are really looking forward to going out there and investigating this amazing building. So Bishop's Palace has undergone a number of transformations in its lifetime, from home to the first bishop to a private residence, and today as a luxurious accommodation venue. The grounds were subdivided over the years, and the property is now surrounded by 4 of the original 11 acres of garden. Then we move on to a personal favourite of mine for so many reasons, which I'll touch base on a separate podcast and also in today's podcast. We will be going back to Barwon Park. Now, Barwon Park is a authentic bluestone mansion and stables set in the sweeping rural landscape of Winchelsea. Now, embarrassed by having to entertain the visiting Duke of Edinburgh at their undistinguished homestead, pioneer pastoralist Thomas Austin and his wife Elizabeth built this lavish 42-room mansion way back in 1871. Now, unfortunately, Thomas Austin died 6 months after the property was completed. However, Elizabeth lived there at Barwon Park for many years. The house then passed onto the hands of the Batson family, who later bequeathed it to the National Trust. Visitors still marvel at the magnificent entrance hall and the impressive rooms, the restored mansion and the stables, and the property is also ideal for weddings, photography and multiple group functions. Now, just a quick fact on Barwon Park. Thomas and Elizabeth Austin are to blame for the infestation of rabbits in Australia. Reason being, when they were bringing over the Duke of Edinburgh, they actually brought in a load of rabbits as well from the UK so that they could entertain the Duke of Edinburgh on hunting missions on the land. Once the Duke of Edinburgh returned back home, they let the rabbits free, and that's why now Australia is full of rabbits. So yeah, quick fact, all because Thomas and Elizabeth Austin was entertaining the Duke of Edinburgh. There you go. Now, also with Barwon Park Mansion, I've had a really personally investigated the Barwon Park, and I have to say it's one of the scariest, most chilling experiences I've ever experienced on location. To this day, I still get shivers. It was just unbelievable. So it all started when we were investigating Elizabeth Austin's bedroom. Yeah, so there was around about 8 or 10 of us, I believe. And I was sitting on the window seat, which was opposite the bed in the bedroom. There was a very strong odour of cigar smoke, which is strange in itself because obviously you haven't been able to smoke at Barwon Park for a very long time. So not only did we have the bit of manifestation of cigar smoke, we heard footsteps actually entering the room on the wooden floor, and then the window blinds started violently shaking. At this point, we were all wondering what was going on. I was sitting on that window seat. I was physically pulled or pushed off that seat. I landed on the floor by the bed, and just then, when I looked up, we believe a full apparition of Elizabeth Austin was standing at the foot of the bed. Now, if I was alone, I would have questioned what I believe to have just seen. However, we all seen and heard at the same time. Again, there was 8 or 10 of us in that room, and we all experienced it. So much so, we were very quickly shut down. The investigation was called off immediately by the mansion parties, and they were citing safety reasons to close us down. So we were quickly hushed, packed up, and hurried out the building. So I'm very excited but nervous about going back. If we can capture half of what we caught the last time, we know that we're going to bring a fantastic episode to your screens. So yeah, make sure you like, share and subscribe so you don't miss any of our content. It's a very uneasy place. Now, just on that, if you've got a paranormal tale to share, the phone lines are now open. Call in on 039132 9817, or if you're overseas, +31 39132 9817. We look forward to hearing all about your experiences. Now, as I say, this is our very first podcast, so we'll be interested to see how we go. But yeah, more than happy to take your call. So we'll touch base a bit more on our international tour in 2024. So we've got some amazing properties that we're currently in negotiations with now. Some of the most alleged paranormal happenings to have happened at these locations, and we certainly do look forward to bringing them to your screens. It's amazing. So yeah, again, please like, share, subscribe, so you don't miss any of the content at all. If you got a story to share, you don't want to call in, just put in a comment, and yeah, I look forward to reading them, and go from there. So yeah, basically, USA, we got so much coming. We're hoping to get to the Conjuring Home, Haunted Hill House, the Sally House, and Queen Mary. There's so many properties over there that we really want to get out there to investigate, because I, for one, enjoy watching them other paranormal investigators stream. So yeah, very excited to get the team over to America. A more bit around Victoria. So we are planning on going back to J Wood. Obviously, for all the original Hide and Seekers who have been following us, that's where it all started, way back when, in 2005. So we thought it was only fitting to actually go back and film a episode for our very first series. Now, the old Ararat jail Oh, we got a caller. Just 1 second. Bear with me. Hello, caller. What's your name and where you come from? Sorry, again, technology is getting better of me, but we will get there. There we go. No.
Hello.
Hello, thank you for calling Hide and Seek Paratalk. What's your name and where you come from?
My name's Steve from Melbourne.
Hi Steve, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing, John?
Yeah mate, I'm very well. This is Steve James, yeah?
It's Steve James, yeah.
Mate, so what would you like to share with us today?
Mate, I'm not sure if you can bring it up on your screen, but awesome podcast so far. But
thank you very much.
I was going to mention, I wanted to bring up our recent visit. Like I went obviously with you and your team to Kyneton.
Yes.
Was it Kyneton?
Yes, we went to Kyneton Theatre Room again in collaboration with Kyneton Paranormal. So thank you very much, Dolly.
Yeah, and I think you put up a picture of actually me this afternoon with a figure on the stairs behind me.
Yes.
I haven't seen that, and I don't know whether you can share it on the actual screen or not. But do you remember shortly after the event, it was the same area where there was the whole venue was really, really spooky and lots of activity going on. But do you remember the head that was clearly evident from the galleried area?
Look, I do. What made that investigation quite interesting was, we were there for some time. There was a lot of, downtime where there weren't much happening. But when we were packing up, the lights were coming on and off.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that.
And they were only, they're only accessible by the sound box. Now, I'm not sure whether you recall, Steve, but I actually went up there to try and see whether anyone was in the box because we couldn't see them from the floor level. So I approached the staircase and I felt the staircase vibrating as well. Got up there and, well, in fact, I think you followed me. There was no one there.
That's right.
There was no one there at all. There was a couple of people that were in the group that were at the back end of the theatre, but there was no one on that sound box. I was standing there by myself.
Yeah.
The photo.
Yeah. And
sorry.
Because that sound box was elevated above the rear sitting area of the theatre.
That's correct.
And
yes.
The only access was past us, where we were stood, where we were taking the photographs, up
Correct.
the stairs behind us, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So again, as you say, the access. We were there. No one could get past us. The lights were going on and off while we were standing there. So at first I thought it could have been another access point to the light switches, but obviously when speaking with Dolly, the only physical point of you can turn those on, we're again at the sound box. And then when we come back downstairs, we started packing up. That's when I was taking photographs, and then we caught that head. Unfortunately, I can't show it now, but I will post it on our Facebook page. So our listeners can see what we're talking about. But yeah, there was a head, and then there was also, if you look on the left of that photo, you will see that there's another. It actually looks like a female on the stairs.
That's right.
Now I sent that photo to Dolly, and I said, Dolly, in fact, Dolly came up as well and checked that sound box after us. So I actually said to her, do you recognise this lady? I can't remember her being there, and I've gone through the video footage as well, and there's not one lady who was there that evening that was wearing. It almost looks like she was wearing a Mexican throwover. That's what it looked like. And Dolly said, "Yeah, John, there's no one there wearing that outfit." So it is quite interesting, because we just can't ascertain, who it was or if it is a person. But I'd say I throw the photo up, But yeah, it certainly was interesting. As far as the head goes, it's clear as day. You can see a head. You know, that's not a question. No question about that.
But it was interesting because this was my first ever investigation I'd ever been on of, you know, like this, and albeit I didn't see anything, or I felt plenty of things, but I didn't see anything while there. But all of a sudden, but of course the lights at the end was significant, going on and off.
Look, there's a couple of things. Like when we first got there, I'm not sure if we recall, Kite and Paranormal were going through a few EVPs, and then we were all sitting there listening to the evidence caught on the listening device. And I sort of indicated to you that I could see the old guy on the stage.
Yeah.
You know, that was fairly interesting. And then the medium said, "Oh, there's someone on the stage." So, you know, it was a very interesting night. It really was. So, you know, if you have got the opportunity, jump onto Kite and Paranormal. And then they always have events at that location. And then Dolly's the one that's in control of that one. So again, you know, we were invited to take part, and I thank Dolly very much. Also, when we go in June to Bishop Palace, that's going to be a very, very exciting one. But yeah, I just can't really stress enough how, yeah, I mentioned it before in the podcast, about Barwon Park. Mate, Barwon Park for me, for years, it was on my mind. You know, as I say, if there weren't 8 or 10 of us that actually physically seen it, you know, I would like, what could that be? Could it be because I was tired? You know, but because there's so many people that seen that same thing, it was really, really unbelievable.
Yeah,
you know,
I've been there as well. I've separate, obviously, to you, but
yeah,
I've been there, and without doubt, it is. As you know, I'm quite superstitious, but I'm quite apprehensive about all this as well. And yeah, I can't wait to join you there for sure.
And I guess it's a bit like, you know, it's a bit like, you know, the skeptics out there. You know, they don't believe it until you physically experience it yourself. You can't believe it. But you know, hopefully with the episodes coming up and the locations we're going to give ourselves as much opportunity and chance to capture something. It's like if you go back on our YouTube page and look at our videos, the most crucial evidence we've ever caught, I believe, is in Old Melbourne Jail. So we were in the Old Melbourne Jail. We had the camera locked off opposite the gallows, and there was no human contamination on that floor whatsoever, because we just obviously want to eliminate that problem. And it wasn't until we were going through all the evidence that the camera caught all the footage that the camera caught, is when we came across this this manifestation or apparition that the camera caught. It actually, it is on our YouTube page, and it actually shows you a full-on manifestation of a hanging, clear as day. So that's probably one of the most, you know, it's got to be one of the most evidence that we can actually rely on. But yeah, go and check it out. It was actually really, really good. And again, J-Ward, you know, we're obviously going back there again, as already previously mentioned in the podcast. But yeah, Steve, thank you very much for calling in, and keep on listening and subscribing. Any comments, put it in the comment box, and thank you again. And just on your photo, I'll put that on the site shortly as well.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks a lot, John.
Thank you very much, and thank you for calling.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Steve. Obviously, I've known Steve for quite some time. He is a skeptic, but you know, hopefully, I can give him some more concrete evidence when we go and investigate these amazing places. Okay, well, I'm going to call that for today. Thank you very much for those who jumped on and watched the whole thing. Hide and Seekers, we have got a lot coming to your screens. So again, thank you very much. I know this one's been a bit rough, but please bear with me and forgive me, as it is our very first podcast. I will be back Wednesday next week at 7 p.m. Now I've got everything all under control and set up properly. I promise you, I will not be late. Until then, please don't have nightmares, but do sleep well.